Okay, so I think I definitely need to be put on a book buying ban. This is ridiculous. This would have to be the biggest, most epic book haul this channel has ever seen. Let's get into it. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing a mega book haul, probably the biggest book haul I've ever done on the channel, which proves that things are out of control and I've bought too many books, and I think I need to go on a book buying ban. It's not a joke anymore, but I've got a lot of cool stuff here to show you and can't wait to share it with you. So I'm going to kick it off with a little bit of manga. Last year I dipped my foot into the manga medium, and I was pretty impressed with what I cut my teeth on, which was the Kurosagi Corpse delivery service, which is about a ragtag group of uni students who have a unique business where their clients are actually souls of the dead, which is really cool. And I've spoken about it a couple of times on the channel in a couple of videos there if you missed it. But let's show you this one first of all, which is Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service Omnibus number 3. So I'm up to the third omnibus. These editions are about 600 pages long. They store 3 volumes from the series in each one, and they're pretty good value for money. They're usually about $48 to $50 each Australian. I have to get them from the States, which isn't really a problem because it's worth the wait when they arrive in the post. So there's that one. I also have omnibus number 4 ready to go straight after this one. This week at the time of filming I've only just started book omnibus 3, and this whole week will be devoted to manga before I catch up on my other normal reading. So I've got number 4 ready to go. I have book 2 of the Vinland Saga, which is a really good one I started last month, which just captivated me. I love the art, I love the story, and yeah, looking forward to getting more volumes of this, which these, when you think about it, they're let's see, you know, about 400 pages long, and they're very hardy. They're printed hardback, so there's no dust cover on them, and they're just really good value for money. I think this cost me about $26.95 Australian, which isn't too bad at all. So really looking forward to continuing with that. And I've actually got Death Note as well in the 2-volume bind-ups here as well, with the gloss spine and the black sprayed edges that you can see there. So I've got that is volume 3 and 4. I have volume 1 and 2 right here. I have volume 4, volume 3 in no particular order, volume 6, and volume 5 right here. What I love about these is they're a large format, so they're very easy to read, and the first couple of pages, it's all black and white of course, but you do have a couple of coloured pages at the start, which is very sensational. So I'm really glad I decided to buy that format in Death Note, and I'm going to be reading that all next week, or the week that's just gone, because I filmed this in advance. So really looking forward to sinking my teeth into a lot more manga. Alright, so let's look at a little bit of science fiction, and one I picked up last weekend or 2 weeks ago because I filmed this in advance is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. Brilliant book. It only took me a few sittings to get through. It's only a little over 200 pages, but man, what a story. And I will be reviewing this one on the channel, so keep an eye out for that because it just captivated me. And in all honesty, we have a top contender for a book of the year, so that's how much I really enjoyed this one, and I would thoroughly recommend it to anyone who hasn't read it yet to pick it up and read it. When I was researching it, I found a lot of good things said about the book on booktube, and you know, being an impressionable person and more importantly a mood reader, it meant that I can stop whatever I was you know, finishing one book and just moving straight onto this without having to wait and be constrained by TBRs and that sort of thing. So that was an incredible book, and I'm so glad I picked it up. Okay, another book that I've got excited about because of the hype that it's received on booktube. A lot of people are talking about this. There's a lot of buzz about this book, particularly when there's an adaptation coming on Netflix, I believe, later this year, and that is starring Nicolas Cage, actually, and this is Butcher's Crossing by John Williams. People were talking about this, and I just had to buy it. It's about a man who travels to Butcher's Crossing and partakes in buffalo hunting, so it looks like it's full of adventure. It's being compared to Lonesome Dove, obviously nowhere near as long as that behemoth of a book, but it looks pretty good. And it's not a big commitment either. You're looking at a little over 300 pages with this one, so I don't anticipate it will take me long. After I finish up catching up with some manga, I'll be diving pretty much straight into this. Okay, the next one I got was a second-hand book of The Passage by Justin Cronin. This one's been very, very popular. I've been aware of it for a lot of years, and I just happened to come across a decent second-hand copy here, which, I'm intrigued by the storyline. When I'm going to get to this, I'm not sure, but it was a very good buy. Okay, now this one was something different. This is called Bunny by S.E. Tolson. So it tells about the story of an abused child and how he revisits his old life and everything that goes on, which has a very, very sinister tone to it as well. Not much is known about this book, and it sort of crept out onto the market without any heavy promotion and things like that, and I just picked it up, just saw it by happenstance and thought, oh, it looks pretty interesting, and thought I will give it a go. Now also we have My Darling Daughter by J.P. Delaney. I picked this up secondhand because it came out last year. J.P. Delaney is a very good psychological thriller author. This one, the next one that's coming out, I think it's already out already, is My New Wife as well. But they're very, very quick to read. They're very thought-provoking, and they're just very well written, and looking forward to getting stuck into that one. And of course I have Harlan Coben's new release, I Will Find You. So this one, the father of a boy, he wakes up covered in blood, and he gets accused with his son's murder, and he has to clear his name, but all indicators point to the son being alive. So that looks pretty good, and I may pick that up sooner rather than later. I have a copy of Holly, of course, which I picked up recently and read it very, very quickly. This one will be reviewed on the channel if I haven't put it up already, given that I've filmed this in advance. But it was a very, very good book, and I read the Bill Hodges trilogy prior to picking this one up, and I appreciated this book a lot more because I knew Holly a lot better, and she's just an absolute ass kicker of a character. She has so many layers to her, and it's not surprising why Stephen King has included her in 5 or 6 of his stories, which is really good. Okay, now a couple of gaps I've filled in my Lee Child collection. I've been after these for a little while just to fill a couple of gaps, and that is The Affair, which was a decent second-hand copy I picked up yesterday at a book sale. And I also have Bad Luck and Trouble, one I've been after for a little while. Obviously I've got it on digital, but I wanted a physical copy to read before Reacher Season 2 streams on Amazon Prime, because Season 2 is based on this book. So I'm going to give myself a bit of a refresher and give this a read before watching Season 2. Season 1, if you'll remember, it was absolutely incredible and was very, very faithful to Killing Floor, the first book in the series. So can't wait to dive into this one. Next up we have one by James Ellroy, who I've never read before but looked very interesting, and that is Perfidia, which is a novel set in wartime America, and you don't know too much about it, but the cover drew me in, so I did buy this based on the cover because it just looks really good. And I've heard of James Ellroy but never read his stuff, but looks pretty interesting. It's a bit of a weighty tome at about 770 pages, so when I get to this one I don't know, but it still looked pretty interesting. Now I had to pick up The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. The cover was very pretty, and I've heard about this book online. It gets really good reviews and things like that, and I thought I saw a copy, so I picked it up because I could. but not that I needed to buy this, but you know, it looked pretty interesting anyway. So, but look at that pretty cover. How nice is that? All right. Now, I've known about the Inheritance trilogy for a little while now, and these came up very, very cheaply at a local department store, and I've actually got Aragon, the first book in the Inheritance cycle, which it's been reprinted and reissued, which is in conjunction with the latest book, Murtaugh. I think that's how you pronounce it, don't quote me, but that's coming out soon. So they've reissued the jackets to coincide with that. So we have the first one, and then we have book number 2, Eldest. They're beautiful editions, these. And we have Brizinger. And then, of course, we have the final book in the quartet, which is Inheritance. So they're very, very good quality books. These only cost me about $12 each. So they were a really good deal when I picked them up. And again, when I'm going to get to them is anyone's guess. All right. Also, at that book sale I went to yesterday, I actually snagged a copy of the Goonies novelisation from 1985. I just thought, how cool is that? I've seen the movie, love the movie, and it's my wife's favourite movie as well. And it's one of those retro paperbacks which actually have the inserts here and stills from the movie in the middle of the book, which was very, very common for movie tie-in editions back in the day. And it'd be pretty cool to read it rather than watch it, and you know, you get a little bit more insight into different events and things that happen, because sometimes when a novelisation was based upon a early draft of a script, for example, much like Star Wars, I'll use it as an example, there could be things in this book that didn't happen in the movie for whatever reason, so I find that very, very interesting. But it was cool to pick that up. Now, another author I'm interested in trying at some point is Peter Straub, and I picked up a copy of The Throat, which is a serial killer thriller, which looked pretty cool. And we have this one, Coco, which is, I don't know too much about it, but looks pretty interesting to me, and looking forward to getting stuck into that one as well. All right. Also at this book sale yesterday, I came across a fantasy series that I'm interested in, and I have one or two books from the series, and it's 22 or 23 books long, so it's longer than Wheel of Time for a fantasy series, and it was written by L.E. Modisett Jr., and that is the Saga of Recluse. So in no particular order, I picked up quite a few of these yesterday as well. So we've got the White Order, which these are really nice 1990s retro paperbacks. We have the Magic Engineer. We have Colors of Chaos. The Towers of the Sunset. Death of Chaos. The Chaos Balance. And Fall of Angels. So it just looks really interesting. It's got an interesting twist where the wizards, there's two types of wizards, good and evil, and the evil wizards are white and the good wizards are black for some reason. So interesting twist there, and don't know when I'm going to get to it, but it's always good to have them on the shelf. And as things are looking at the moment, you can see behind me my bookshelves are an absolute shit show. It's calling out for a revamp, and I've got some time off coming in February next year, so I'm going to take a bit of time and redo the bookshelves again. And for the benefit of my new subscribers, I'll do a bookshelf tour 2024 version, which should be really, really exciting. And we're still going. Okay, so we've got R.A. Salvatore, The Thousand Orcs. It's part of a trilogy from the Forgotten Realms. I found this one, got a good deal on it. It's pretty in pretty good condition. Looked really interesting, and I wouldn't mind dipping my foot into the Forgotten Realms universe at some point. Okay, the next one I got was, I actually mucked up a little bit with this one at this book sale. I actually picked up D.H. Lawrence's selected works. Now, I wanted a book of his poems, right? And because there was a crowd of people and you had to reach over and grab what you could, I didn't read it properly, and it's actually his a few of his novels in here, which you know, isn't too bad. But I wanted the poems, but you know, I picked it up for a pretty good deal. So it's got 1, 2, 3 works in there, so I'll give them a go at some point, but I still would like to get hold of some of his poetry as well. Okay, and I've also got this is from Jack White. Now you'll know that he wrote the he wrote about the Arthurian legends and things like that, and this one is called The Sky Stone, which is a saga. I think this is the first book in this series, and I just picked it up because I, you know, paid $2 or $3 for it actually, and just picked it up very, very cheaply. But it's a really nice quality hardback, which looks brand new, and yeah, at some point I will get into it. So really good. Okay guys, we're almost at the end. This next batch of books, I've saved the best till last because I've been stockpiling these like there's no tomorrow, and there's more on the way. So I am very interested in the Star Wars extended universe, and you know, back in the 1990s I read the original Thrawn trilogy like everyone else, and for some reason I don't know how I got through the rest of the 1990s and the 2000s without reading more in the Star Wars EU. So because my interest has peaked, and because on my radar last year there were some new issues of Star Wars books which really intrigued me, because they've been reissued with the label of Star Wars Essential Legends Collection. So as everyone knows, Disney has considered the Star Wars Legends books non-canon, and they've rebranded them accordingly, but they haven't been mucking around getting these out because there are a number of different waves where they're releasing a few titles every month or two, and I thought, you know, I was going to look at getting all these Star Wars Legends books secondhand and that sort of thing, and there are so many of them out there, it was a nearly impossible task, and they can get very, very expensive as well because some are rarer than others. So when I saw these new covers getting reissued, it really piqued my interest, and I thought I've got a real chance here to start collecting them and reading them and catching up, so that when new ones are released I'm ready and waiting for them. So I have got a stack of these Star Wars Essential Legends Collection books here, which I'm going to show you now, and the cover art for these is sensational. And let's start with this one. Now before I do this, I actually stuffed up a little bit as well, but it's also the publisher's fault, because as you know, my OCD is pretty shocking when it comes to book sizes, and when I'm collecting series and things like that, it's important that they all match. But I actually mucked up, and some of the books are actually smaller and some are bigger, but at the end of the day it doesn't matter as long as I get them all. So let's start off with the first one, which is Into the Void, which is The Dawn of the Jedi. Look at this cover art here, and you can see how they've rebranded it, the Essential Legends Collection. What is most attractive about this than the older books is that these are durable. Okay, you can have them open like this, and it actually doesn't hurt the book. The spine will not bend. When you're reading the old Legends ones, I've seen a couple of the older ones, and the print is very, very close to the center, so you have to actually hold the book open a little bit more. But these ones are a lot more durable, and the font is larger as well, which is a real plus for me given my poor eyesight or reading sight. So there's that one. And these ones are a little bit smaller because I got these from Australia, and we've got Darth Plagueis. This is one of the first ones I got recently because all across the Star Wars fandom, this is the most popular book that people talk about. It's so well written, it's jam-packed full of lore from the Star Wars universe, about kyber crystals and midichlorians and all the mythology that goes into it. And this is probably one of the best written novels that people claim. So it's the one I'm going to be reading first when I get the chance. But just look at this cover art, absolutely sensational. There's several authors that have been, several artists that have been commissioned to do several covers each, and I'll show you the different styles. So this is just awesome. The next one is book 1 of the Darth Bane trilogy, Path of Destruction. You can see how it's got a comic book sketch kind of theme with this one. Okay. Then we have the bigger format books that I got. So you can see the size difference between these two. Okay. So it's, you know, it's a little bit bigger, which doesn't quite match on the shelf, but I've worked out how to display them without affecting my OCD too much. So what I've done is the larger format ones I've actually stacked up like this, and then the smaller ones I actually have stacked like that, if I can do that right. And then it doesn't, it's not as not so much as a negative impact. Okay, so then we get into the original Thrawn trilogy, which have a different kind of cross-hatching in their art. So we've got no particular order with these. We've got The Last Command, which is very, very nice. We have Heir to the Empire, which is also very nice. And of course we have Dark Force Rising. Now these are very, very big. I wish you could see them in person, but the font is very, very clear and sharp. If I can show you that, nice and clear, easy to read, again very durable. Okay, now I've also got Kenobi. Now this is a different oil painting kind of style as well, but look at that cover, isn't it brilliant? And that's one I'm super interested to get into as well. I'll probably read this before watching the series on Disney Plus. Okay, now this one is book 2 of the Darth Bane series, Rule of Two. You can see it's kept the same theme there with the comic-like sketch theme there. And I have book 1 of the Republic Commando series, which they're releasing as well, which is Hard Contact. And I've also got the standalone Death Troopers. Look at that art. This one's pretty cool. This one is Darth Maul Shadow Hunter. Look at that. Absolutely sensational. And then I've got the final book in the Darth Bane series, Dynasty of Evil. So it's kept the same theme in the artwork on the cover across the 3 books. Okay, now this particular artist on these covers is absolutely brilliant. The color saturation here is incredible, and this is Outbound Flight. Look at the color saturation with that. That's probably one of my favorite covers that I've seen in this series. And then of course we have Yoda, Dark Rendezvous. Now at the time of filming this, I'm still waiting on 2 more Star Wars Essential Legends Collection books to come in, and that is the first book in the Rogue Squadron series, and Shatterpoint, which is the novel about Mace Windu during the Clone Wars. So that should be pretty interesting as well. Now once I get those 2 here, I will have about 14 or 16 of the 24 currently released books. So over the next 3 or 4 months I'll be getting the rest of them, and then I think January next year is when they're releasing the next wave. Now I believe they're releasing iJedi, and I think they're releasing the Courtship of Princess Leia, and I think they're releasing the Lando Calrissian adventures in one bind-up, which is pretty cool as well. So I can only hope they do the same with Han Solo and release his trilogy in this format as well, because it'll be absolutely sensational. I'm not sure how long they're going to be publishing these for. I'd like to think they would have most of the Star Wars EU put out in this format, which would be very nice, because they do look awesome on the shelf when I've had them displayed. And yeah, just really looking forward to exploring the Star Wars universe, because I'm so behind and I've left it far too long, and itching to get into it, which I'm hoping to at the start of next year. Okay, and the last book that I found at this book sale was a novelization of The Phantom Menace, and I'm pleased to pick this one up because you've got I think there's a Ewan McGregor cover, there's a Natalie Portman cover, and one of Anakin as well, but this was the one I wanted with Darth Maul on the cover. And when I had a flip through this one, I find it pretty remarkable, because the movie, the book starts before the movie does, essentially, because the opening pages are from the previous podcar race that Anakin has on Tatooine before the events of the Phantom Menace pick up. So very, very interesting, and can't wait to read that. When I'm going to get to do that, I don't know, but that is the last book to show you guys. That is it for my most epic book haul ever. I think I've got a problem. I'm going to have to wind back the spending a little bit, but you know, I'm going to have to find some space now. Don't know how I'm going to do that. Might have to do a bit of an unhaul, but it's a perfect excuse to overhaul the shelves again and do a whole new bookshelf tour video, which I'm excited to do. But as you can see, you don't see all the shelves behind me. There's one over here and one over here, and it is a massive job, and I'm going to put it off for as long as I can. But as I said, in Feb I've got some time off, and I might just get stuck in and do that. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the haul in the comments below. I'm interested to hear from you. Always welcome some feedback, and I'll always respond to that. But until the next video, guys, I'll catch you later.